Hello everyone, and welcome to Chabot News for May 8th, 2025. It's the one and only Lamont Lugin, and today we'll be covering the latest on President Donald Trump being sued by Harvard University and news on the conclave. In entertainment news, Cole will tell you about the Cowboy Carter tour, and for top 5, we have Chris in his top 5 Simpsons episodes. And finally, in sports news, we have Bruce on the NFL 2027 draft. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News.
Craft Pizzeria offers more than handcrafted pizzas. It's part of a comprehensive entertainment experience. Guests can enjoy 4,000 square foot laser tag arena and a vibrant arcade as part of Sector 19, and a buzzing sports bar with 85-inch TVs in the restaurant. The menu features wings, calzones, sandwiches, salads, and customizable pizzas, including gluten-free halal options made fresh daily. Locally owned and open from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 a.m., even on holidays. Craft Pizzeria is designed for family dinners, weekend celebrations, or just catching the game. Craft Pizzeria by Nietzsche, where food and fun come together. More at craftpizzeriabynietzsche.com or visit in person on Foothill Boulevard in Hayward.
Ukrainian state of officials say Russian drones attacked Ukrainian southern port city of Odessa on Thursday. They say 2 people were killed and others were injured. The attack came after the United States and Ukraine signed a critical minerals deal. The economic partnership agreement gives the U.S. access to Kiev's rare earth minerals in exchange for establishing an investment fund in Ukraine. The deal was reached after weeks of intense negotiations that at times turned bitter and temporarily derailed Washington's aid to Ukraine. Peak fire season is right around the corner in California. On Thursday, April 24th, Governor Gavin Newsom announced the state was adding a second C-130 air tanker to its firefighting fleet. In recent news, California leaders have nearly doubled the budget for state efforts to fight wildfires. But Newsom says the federal government needs to step up too.
Final point, we need federal support. 57% of the state's land is federal, 3% is in the hands of the state. I'll repeat that. 57% of the forest land in California is federal responsibility. 3% is the state. Now, we're not here to focus on who's to blame. We're focused on what to do. We have a shared stewardship agreement with the federal administration, but we need to see it funded. This administration just cut 10% of the U.S. Forest Service budget. You can't even make that up. That's not risk-taking, that's recklessness.
The governor's office says prevention efforts have treated nearly 2 million acres of state land in recent years. Sunday is National Tell a Story Day. Each year on April 27th, Americans of all ages are encouraged to share their stories. They can range from childhood memories or a story from your imagination. You can also read your favorite book to a family, friends, or loved ones. To commemorate National Tell a Story Day, many libraries across the country participate by offering special storytelling times for children. We sent our reporter, Susan Gonzalez, to ask students if they could share about their childhood stories.
Okay. When I was in middle school, I struggled a lot with self-identity. So I got really into this graphic novel named Scott Pilgrim, and I was obsessed with Ramona Flowers. So I went to the hair salon, showed them a picture of Ramona Flowers from the book, got exactly that haircut, and every single month I made it a dedication to change my hair color. And I was so in love with her. And it got up to the point where people were like, oh my God, you're like Ramona Flowers. And then that filled my ego so hard.
When I was a kid, my mom would watch basketball on full blast, and I like to eat things. So I had a penny, and I swallowed it, and I started choking, and I went in the background, and then I like coughed it out, and my mom like never noticed.
Okay, when I was about 3 or 4, I was in the pool with my cousin who was like playing with me in the pool, and he was like lifting me up and down in the water. You know, like what you do with babies, like you bob them up and down the water. And he was trying to see, because I could hold my breath. So he was trying to see if I could hold my breath, and then I started drowning as he was holding me in the water, and I nearly drowned because he held me under the water for too long. Yeah.
Thanks, Susan. It appears Chabot students have had fun childhoods. And speaking of stories, Chris will give us his top 5 episodes of The Simpsons.
Thanks, Lamond. The Simpsons is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Right now, I will list my top 5 favorite Simpsons episodes. Starting off at number 5, we have Bart Sells His Soul. The main plot of this episode involves Bart selling his soul to Milhouse. However, the reason why I like this episode is because of the subplot, which involves Moe turning his bar into a restaurant called Uncle Moe's Family Feed Bag. Moving on to number 4, we have King Size Homer. In this episode, Homer intentionally gains weight so he can claim disability and work from home. One of the things that makes me laugh the most from this episode is the way Homer looks in his new floral muumuu. At number 3, we have the City of New York versus Homer Simpson. In this episode, the Simpson family travels to New York to recover Homer's car, which was left there by Barney. The car is found outside the World Trade Center, and it has multiple parking tickets and a parking boot. My favorite part of this episode is when Homer drives the car with the boot still on the tire, which causes a lot of damage to the car, of course. For the number 2 spot, we have Homer versus the 18th Amendment. In this episode, Homer becomes a bootlegger after Prohibition is enacted in Springfield. This episode is nostalgic to me because I first saw it in my 11th grade U.S. history class. And finally, at number 1, we have 30 Minutes Over Tokyo. In this episode, the Simpsons go to Japan for a vacation. They end up having to go on a Japanese game show in order to win plane tickets back home. This is definitely my favorite Simpsons episode of all time, since almost every scene in it makes me laugh every time I watch it. That is all for top 5 this week. Now back to you, Lamond.
Thank you for the really interesting top 5, Chris. Now, the Trump administration and Harvard University faced off in a Massachusetts federal courtroom on April 28th. Harvard filed a lawsuit a week ago after the administration announced it was cutting billions of dollars in federal research money. The White House says it was a result of a breakdown over discussions over combating anti-Semitism on campus. Harvard claims the freezing of the money is unconstitutional because it violates the First Amendment. The university also claims the administration is not following federal rules for changing key government policies and violated the Administrative Procedure Act. The judge said oral arguments in the case for July 21st. Harvard asked for Monday's status hearing in order to move the case forward expeditiously. I went out this week to survey students on their thoughts on the lawsuit. All right, brother, what are your thoughts on Harvard's lawsuit to the Trump administration?
Oh man, Harvard's law to Trump administration, because I actually have not even looked into that. I barely look at politics, which I should start looking at it a little bit more, but I have no opinion on it. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Harvard's lawsuit towards the Trump administration?
I have no clue what's going on with that right now, but yeah, I haven't kept up with any of that. I've been doing theater stuff, but the sounds of it, I don't know. I'm not that much into politics, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
What are your thoughts on Harvard suing the Trump administration?
I think it's pretty stupid. Yeah, they're trying to take away the nonprofit status of Harvard just because they made up a charge of anti-Semitism against the staff and faculty at the university. Problem is, research funds go to innovation, and if you restrict the amount of research funds that they receive, that basically means we're going to innovate less. That's about all I have.
What are your thoughts on Harvard suing the Trump administration?
At first, I was like, it makes sense because Harvard's such a big school, and they already probably have a bunch of money in their budget. But now, after more information about the thing, is that he only took money from Harvard and not from any other, Ivy League schools. So it really makes no sense. I feel like they really do have a reason to sue him for that money, even though they probably really aren't losing it that much from him taking the money. But yeah.
Thank you. As you can see, not many students seem to care about politics. But now we go to Cole with the latest news in entertainment.
Thanks, Lamont. Are these Bad Bunny's long-lost twins? In Miami, Florida on Sunday, contestants lined up to compete in a look-alike contest to determine who most resembled the Puerto Rican artist. But it wasn't enough to just look like the musician. Contestants also had to recite the rapper's lyrics in front of an enthusiastic crowd. The winner? A guy by the name of Kevin Amaro won top honors, with a 3-year-old boy named Marcelo coming in close second. This was the scene Monday night in Texas. Wait, that's not Texas, it's Inglewood, California. SoFi Stadium has been invaded by cowboy hats and boots for the kickoff of Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter Tour. Her fans have embraced her country album, even if the Nashville establishment hasn't. But she left all the way to the Grammys, taking home Country Album of the Year back in February. And now? Let's just say she's playing SoFi Stadium for 5 nights before moving on to Chicago. Once there, she'll play Soldier Field for 3 nights. We sent our reporter Bruce Malloy out to ask students if they would go to her concert.
Beyonce started her Cowboy Carter tour. Since it's not really her genre, which is, rap, hip-hop, would you still go see the country Cowboy Carter concert if you had a chance to see Beyonce?
Not that much of a Beyonce fan, so I'm going to say no on that.
So I don't know if you're a Beyonce fan, but with her Cowboy Carter tour starting, would you go see Beyonce even though it's not really her genre?
For most, I don't even listen to Beyonce, but I've seen her in a lot of feature music. But I mean, if it's free, sure.
So, would you go see Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour, even though it's not her normal genre?
I'd probably say not. I don't really listen to Beyonce like that, and that's not even her own concert. So what's really the point of going to go listen to Beyonce if it's not even going to be her actual concert? Which kind of makes no sense.
Okay, thanks. So Beyonce's just come out with her Cowboy Carter tour. Would you go see the Cowboy Carter tour, even though it's not her normal genre?
I grown up with my mom playing Beyonce in the car. I've been around since Lemonade, and she broke off from Destiny's Child. It was wild. I would go see Beyonce mainly because there are a bunch of fine women who are going to go see Beyonce, and there's nothing you could really complain about. She's a great performer, and she just so happens to be very easy on the eyes.
Thanks, Bruce. It looks like there are some very differing opinions about Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour. And on it goes as Queen Bey takes her act on the road through much of the summer. That's it for entertainment news. Now back to you, Lamond.
Thanks, Cole. Amazon considered displaying tariff costs for some products on its haul site. But an Amazon spokesperson said it was never a consideration. The main Amazon site. The update from the company came after an early report from Punchbowl News cited a source saying Amazon will soon start displaying tariff costs to help illustrate how the price affect their goods. The Trump administration attacked the reported move by Amazon, with the White House press secretary calling it a hostile political act. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. has a stroke. According to the American Heart Association, getting medical care quickly is critical and could mean the difference between life and death. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gunther has the subtle signs of a stroke that everyone should know in honor of Stroke Awareness Month.
It's a medical emergency when blood flow to the brain is disrupted, causing brain cells to die. It can lead to disability or even death. In the U.S., someone dies of stroke every 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
Our mantra is time is brain, and every minute really counts.
Dr. Jonathan Salamano with Cleveland Clinic says the phrase "be fast" can help you remember the subtle signs of stroke and what to do. B stands for balance if there's a sudden loss of coordination or dizziness. E is for eyes if there's unexpected vision loss or changes. F is for face. Facial drooping is a potential symptom. A, arm numbness or weakness on one side of the body. S is for speech. Slurred speaking or difficulty communicating or understanding could be a sign. Finally, T is time to call 911.
Those are all signs and symptoms that should be concerning.
Salamano says stroke risk rises with age, but it can happen to anyone. In fact, a CDC report found the number of young people having strokes is increasing. That's why knowing risk factors is key. Your chances for stroke increase if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, if you smoke or abuse substances.
Oftentimes, young adults don't get their annual physical exams or might have undiagnosed conditions like blood pressure or high cholesterol that places them at increased risk.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
It's a medical emergency when blood flow to the brain is disrupted, causing brain cells to die. It can lead to disability or even death. In the U.S., someone dies from a stroke every 3 minutes and 11 seconds. The Heart Association says having a heart-healthy lifestyle can also help lower the risk of a number of health issues, including stroke. That includes eating a balanced, healthy diet like a Mediterranean diet and getting regular exercise. Bruce will now give us the latest news in sports.
Thanks, Lamond. The bright lights of the NFL draft are coming to the nation's capital. On Monday, May 5th, President Donald Trump announced Washington, D.C. will host the 2027 version of the high-profile event. Julia Benbrook is at the White House with more details.
Earlier this year, President Donald Trump became the first sitting president to attend the Super Bowl. Today, he made an announcement about another sporting event of sorts, the NFL Draft, which we're learning will take place here in Washington in just a couple of years. In the Oval Office, with NFL officials and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser standing nearby, President Donald Trump announced that Washington, D.C. will host the 2027 NFL Draft.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be something that nobody else will ever be able to duplicate that, I don't suspect. It's very exciting.
In recent years, the NFL has grown this three-day event, hosting it at big outdoor venues. The 2025 draft was held in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with the NFL saying approximately 205,000 people attended the first day. In 2026, it's scheduled to take place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And as Axios first reported, the 2027 event is expected to take place in D.C. on the National Mall.
The NFL bringing this event to the nation's capital will help us fill hotel rooms, our restaurants, and Americans from all 50 states will come to their nation's capital and enjoy our beautiful city and museums.
This announcement comes as the District of Columbia and the Washington Commanders have come to an agreement to move the team from its current location in Landover, Maryland, to a new stadium in Washington on the site of the old RFK Stadium. Now, those stadium plans still require approval from the D.C. Council in order to move forward. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
This news seems to have been a big surprise to most. Thank you for that report, Julia. It will be interesting to see how they'll set up the National Mall as the venue for the 2027 NFL Draft. Olympic medalist Frederick Richard hopes to claim the world backflip record and is live streaming his efforts. He's known as Frederick Flips, on social media, and it's all to raise money to buy high-level gymnastics equipment for kids in Africa. Courtney Cole reports.
Gymnastics is not cheap. Equipment is expensive. That's why it's so hard to get into. We're trying to change that.
The 21-year-old is pushing for that change one flip at a time.
It's going to be a lot of fun today, and we're trying to hit our goal of raising money to get this equipment to kids in Uganda.
Now, to keep on pace, Frederick Richard averages one flip a minute.
I am just so proud of this boy, his focus, his passion.
You got this, man. I support you. Go Blue, here for the greatness.
Throughout the day, members of Richard's support team, they read out different comments left on the live stream as motivation. Stretching is key to accomplishing the world record goals, but so is a sense of humor.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but I'm the one who has to do the flips, Tom.
For Richard, hometown support means the world.
I mean, Massachusetts has been a huge part. We're actually doing this world record in the first gym that I started in. And it's made this whole journey really fun. Honestly, a lot easier than it could have been without these people. So it's been everything.
The team keeps the mood light, marking each milestone along the journey.
3, 2, 1. 100.
Richard needs to complete 1,002 backflips to claim the record, and he hopes to raise $100,000 in the process.
We broke down costs of what equipment I want to bring there: mats, springboards, trampolines, mini trampolines. And that's to start them off. Storage facilities, logistics of shipping, and that's what it's going to take to really make a big difference.
A live painting event is just one of the many things on the schedule to keep up interest on the stream.
I've actually received a DM from Frederick himself saying, hey, let's collab. I love your artwork. And it went from there.
All of the artwork created, including one by Richard himself, will be auctioned off with the proceeds going to help train kids in Africa.
But Fred has always been passionate about bringing more eyes to the sport of gymnastics and bringing more young boys into the sport and growing the sport.
And the rest of my career is definitely going to be about helping kids that are underprivileged get those resources to do sports that they love, to do things that are fun, and reach their full potential.
Thanks for that great report, Courtney. I can't imagine doing over 1,000 backflips, personally. If Frederick manages to get this record, it'll go a long way to getting professional gymnastics equipment to the kids in Uganda. We wish you all the best, Frederick. That covers sports for this week. Now back to you, Lamond.
Thanks, Bruce. As cardinals in Rome attend the papal conclave to select a new pope, young students in Chicago learn all about their special job. Tuesday, the kids dressed up as cardinals to hold their own mock conclave. Noel Berman visits the Catholic school and has more from the kid cardinals.
Who would you vote for?
When the mystery of the papal conclave meets a kid's imagination.
It is time for our conclave to begin.
Chicago's Our Lady of Mount Carmel Academy becomes the Sistine Chapel.
Let the Holy Spirit be with you.
Suddenly, a fourth grader like Cameron Smith
What would you do if you became Pope?
feels the weight of a cardinal in Rome.
Wow, there's so many good options.
Cameron has to vote like a cardinal and think like one too.
You'd want to be able, you don't want to be an interesting answer.
Teachers, parents, and their parish helped plan this mock conclave.
We really have no idea who's going to get chosen.
It's up to 20 kid cardinals to pick their pope.
Do you need to be humble? I think you got to be kind, respectful. Be a pope of the people.
What makes a good pope is a pope that's holy and has a good heart for everyone.
How many votes is this going to take?
I think maybe 4 to 6, yeah.
4 to 6?
Yeah.
And we're on 2?
Yeah. We think that's not fair.
As Cameron and the Cardinals start campaigning for each other,
Augie over there.
front runners crop up.
It's going to be him.
I'm confident, but I'm not confident.
Now we have to eat because we're so stressed out.
No consensus on a pope just yet. The Cardinals have finished a snack break and are in their third round of voting.
They say we're getting very close to a pope and everyone's freaking out. It could be anyone.
The palpable papal suspense finally lifts.
Cardinal Augustus Wilk.
And it's fourth grader Augie Wilk
We did it!
who's gotten at least 2/3 of the vote.
We did it!
I learned let the Holy Spirit guide me through all my voting and to make the right choices. And I also learned it's good to have a little bit of fun, but also stay humble.
White smoke signals the news to the entire school. and in this moment, you'd swear you were in St. Peter's Square.
Wednesday, Cardinals locked the doors of the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City to elect a new pope. The Sistine Chapel is being over here. Okay, the Sistine Chapel is being prepared for the start of conclave next Wednesday, the Catholic process of choosing the next pope. Rafael Romo reports from Rome.
Preparations for the conclave are in full swing here at the Vatican as more than 180 cardinals from around the world continue to meet and get ready to choose a successor for Pope Francis. The Holy See has released pictures showing construction work in the Sistine Chapel, where, in keeping with tradition, the conclave will take place. The pictures show metal and wooden beams being assembled to build the structures needed to accommodate all the cardinals that are eligible to cast ballots. Altogether, the Roman Catholic Church currently has 252 cardinals, but according to church rules, only those younger than 80 are eligible to vote, which means 135 cardinals can participate in the conclave. Vatican spokesman Matteo Bruni confirmed earlier this week that 2 cardinal electors will not attend the conclave due to health reasons. And on Tuesday, Cardinal Giovanni Angelo Becciu, who was convicted of financial crimes by the Vatican, said he will no longer insist on participating in the conclave. The cardinals decided earlier this week the conclave will begin on Wednesday, May 7th. The Vatican has announced that day at 10 in the morning, local time, there will be a votive mass for the election of the Pope here at St. Peter's Basilica. After the mass, the conclave itself will officially begin at 4:30 in the afternoon with a prayer service in the Pauline Chapel attended by all the cardinal electors. Once the prayer service has concluded, the cardinals will enter in procession into the Sistine Chapel. The last 2 conclaves, held in 2005 to elect Pope Benedict XVI and in 2013 to elect Pope Francis, lasted 2 days. Since Pope Francis was laid to rest on Saturday, the Vatican has held daily morning masses, and the cardinals have met frequently to discuss church matters and get ready for the conclave. Reporting from Rome, I'm Rafael Romo.
Thanks, Rafael. The new pope is elected when 2/3 of the majority has been reached by the conclave and is historically chosen from eligible cardinals, though any baptized adult male may be elected as the pope. The election of the new pope is signaled by white smoke emerging from the Vatican City chimney. In Chabot news, an art class on campus took the liberty of making an art display for the theater department located in Building 1200. More specifically, it was created to honor the musical Rent that has taken place in late March and early April. Jasmine Bester has exclusive details. Thanks, Jasmine. The box office sold over 800 tickets during the production of Rent. Due to the amount of support the Rent received, the theater department has plans to do yet another musical in spring of 2026. The musical has yet to be announced. Chabot College's very own Connie Jo Seacrest has taken her talents from working in the TV studio to producing her very own short film called Stalled in 8 Etudes. The short film made its debut at the San Francisco Short Film Festival on October 17th of last year. Connie, along with some of the cast and crew of the short film, had the time to talk to our reporter, Jasmine Bester. Take it away from here.
Stalled in 8 Etudes is a short film shown during the San Francisco Short Film Festival at 4 Star Theater. Written and directed by Kirsty Bryant, produced by former Chabot TV studio employee Connie Jo.
Film festivals are very important for filmmakers, especially producers, because that's where we showcase our work, and we can see how the audience reacts. But not only that, is that we can also connect with other filmmakers, especially in the Bay Area.
Connie Jo's like, just take a look at Chabot. And so when I arrived, Sujoy greeted me and walked me around. It was the texture of Chabot. I mean, I would write any film for Chabot College, honestly, because there's just so many cool spots that you can kind of like open up that makes it a unique, interesting spot. More importantly, Chabot offered so much support to us.
In this short, it felt like, a very real sense of community between these strangers. It was like a sort of a common humanity between people of different strengths.
It is awesome to come to short film festivals and participate because it's kind of like where all the filmmakers that you know and love start.
Short films, sometimes you can fit the best stories in a short time. They really expand beyond the length of the running time.
My favorite part of filming was filming with Tracy Bonner. She played 8 roles in this film, and she did a phenomenal job. She taught me so much. She taught me to live in the moment, and I've never learned so much with an acting partner before, but with dealing with Tracy Bonner, she's going to step your game up. You're going to have no choice but to come hot and come correct and be your best self and be in the moment, live it, and not just perform.
The viewing of the short film was a great turnout. I'm Jasmine Bester, signing off.
Thanks, Jasmine. It's wonderful to see a former Chabot employee taking their talents to new heights. And that's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH on Channel 27 Comcast for more Chabot TV.